Welcome, everyone. My name is Sarah Harvey, and I am a double gold consultant with Team Powerhouse. Welcome to today's training, Tax Tips, Tricks, and Deductions for Travel Agents. My goal for this session is to show you how to keep more of what you earn this year. On top of being a travel agent and mentor, I'm also a certified tax preparer, and this year will be my 5th year. I work with many independent business owners and know the unique challenges travel agents face. So I wanted to help you guys not have those challenges. So before we dive into this long list of what you can deduct, let's talk about why this is so important. Understanding tax deductions is essential for your small business. Why? Because they significantly reduce your taxable income, which improves your financial position. When you understand these, you can maximize profits and sustain growth by leveraging these deductions. You can save money that can be reinvested into your travel business to enhance your operations. Let's get started. We'll start building our list of essential deductions. The first one will be home office expenses. You can deduct expenses related to your workspace. Business supplies, when you purchase supplies for your business, you can write them off. Travel costs, this is a big one for all of you. You can deduct costs related to any type of business travel and meals. Health and life insurance premiums for these policies. And furniture, if you buy furniture entirely for office use, it is 100% deductible in that tax year. Office equipment, this includes things like computers, printers, and scanners, which are 100% deductible. Phone and internet, you can write off 50% of your internet expenses for the year. Business interest and bank fees, this applies to interest charged in any type of business loans and business credit cards. Education, any educational expenses that you may incur to bring value to your business, they are all fully deductible. For example, CLIA or any certifications that you have to pay for, they're all fully deductible. This is the key for all those trainings and certifications. Child and dependent care costs, any costs that incur for caring for your children or adult dependents. And then energy efficiency, you can claim 30% of the cost of alternative energy equipment for your home, like solar panels, medical expenses. You can claim both insurance premiums and medical care expenses, real estate taxes and mortgage interest, and moving expenses. If you move over 50 miles for work, you can deduct any type of moving costs, paying movers or a U-Haul rental. A few more critical ones for small business owners, advertising and promoting. You can fully deduct expenses for this, including digital and print advertising, website design, and the cost of printing business cards. Any type of advertising or promoting that you do. Any startup expenses, if you just launched, you can deduct as much as $5,000 in startup expenses. Gifts to clients are 100% deductible, but the key is up to $25 per person per year. And postage, if you send clients gifts, marketing materials, anything like that, you can write off any type of postage. So let's run through the list. Marketing materials, business cards, vendor events, materials for these vendor events, such as tablecloths, decorations, anything like that. All of those are fully deductible. Materials for those events, conventions, and fam trips. Now, I want to pause this for a second. Any vacation costs, if you take photos to promote, I see this all the time. We're going to cover the exact IRS rule on this. It's on the misconception slide in just a few minutes, so hold that thought. Your office space, office supplies, computer, laptops, phone bill, internet, social media, any marketing, any websites, any gifts for clients, any meals. If you meet for lunch with your client to go over anything, that's fully deductible. lodging, any car expenses, flights, baggage costs, utilities, daycare, and even if you're a mentor, Zoom and Calendly, job boards, and any agent rewards or cash rewards, you can claim all of that as well. So I know looking at that list, the thought of having to prepare in taxes may send you into a panic, but I always say just breathe and take it all in. I do have some tips to make tax time less stressful. But first, I need to be very clear. Whatever you do, don't ignore your taxes. You don't want a phone call or a letter from the IRS saying that you're being audited. These tips I'm sharing are easy to understand and may even save you a lot of money or get you back a lot of money. So, my first and most practical tip is get and stay organized. If you find yourself sifting through papers or you can't find receipts, you need to get organized. At a minimum, I would say create a computer file, any type of folders to organize all of your information. And I highly recommend you to back up those files with a physical file folder, just so that way you do have everything in order. A digital and a physical backup is the safest bet, but you always want some type of backup. And to keep those things organized, I highly, highly suggest doing that. Next tip, look for often overlooked deductions. This is perhaps the most money making tax tip. Take everything you're allowed to take. So many business owners aren't aware of how many tax deductions are available. For example, IRA or 401k contributions, health insurance premiums, advertising and marketing, meals and entertainment, any educational expenses such as conferences, conventions, and seminars. I always suggest to make sure you deduct all of them. The best advice I can give you is to check with your CPA to see what write offs you may be missing. The only way they'll know is if you actually keep your receipts and you present your CPA with these receipts. Some will go through them themselves, like they'll go through your bank records, but a lot of times they won't, to be honest. So I always suggest to just keep track of everything. Let's circle back to the home office deduction. Using the simplified method, you are allowed to deduct $5 per square foot of office space, up to $1,500. The most important rule here is that this deduction requires you to have a home office exclusively for work. It can also be your home gym or a guest room, any area where you have set up for your business. And then also, let's talk about capital expenditures. This is just a formal name for equipment and supplies that don't need replacing each year. So this includes things like your office furniture, computers, any software programs. Office supplies can also be written off. So up to 500,000 can be written off in this category. You just want to keep those separate. These are things you purchase one time for your business and then write them off once. So this brings me to my most critical tip: hire a certified public accountant. Hiring a CPA is one of the smartest things you can do. He or she could save you a ton of money and can get you even a bigger tax break because CPA is the expert required to stay up to date with the latest in accounting and taxes. My other critical tip: save your receipts. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is assuming your credit card statement is good enough for the IRS, because that's completely wrong. If you get audited, you need to show itemized receipts for everything you bought. To be safer, scan all receipts or use tax software to keep everything safe. Let's bust some common myths. Misconception one: personal vacations, always deductible. This is the biggest one for travel agents. The reality is that only trips with a clear business purpose qualify. This means attending a conference, a fam trip, or a required site inspection. Purely personal vacations do not count. On that note, taking photos to promote is not by itself enough to make a personal vacation a business trip in the eyes of the IRS. So you want to make sure you have things like social media postings or any type of emails from a hotel that you might have visited, anything to show that it was a business trip. And then misconception number, the meals are deductible. The reality is that the IRS generally allows only 50% deductions for meals while traveling for business. Misconception, clothing purchases are deductible, but the reality is that clothing is deductible only if it is not suitable for everyday wear. So things like branded uniforms or anything that has your logo on it or is branded specifically for your business. Misconception, client gifts are fully deductible. The reality is that the IRS caps client gift deductions at $25 per recipient per year, no matter what the cost of the gift. So now I want to show you some real visual tax deduction examples. Understanding business tax deduction is crucial. So these visuals highlight the types of receipts and invoices that can help you minimize your tax liabilities. This slide is so helpful. It breaks down what you can and cannot deduct on a trip. If you would like, you can take a screenshot. The deductible expenses include transportation costs such as airfare, train tickets, car rentals, mileage, lodging, meals at 50%, conference fees, laundry or dry cleaning, and tips related to all those expenses. You cannot deduct travel expenses for your child or spouse unless they are a legal employee on the trip, movie rental fees at the hotel, luxury hotel accommodations, and other personal expenses. This is just a few examples of things that you can and cannot deduct. So this is a great visual summary of those tax deductible travel expenses. Remember, the rule is that the expenses must be ordinary, necessary, and outside of your tax zone. So this includes lodging, airfare, public transport, work related meals, a rental car, and laundry. To review our smart tax strategies, we're focusing on number one, home office, deducting the expenses for your exclusive home office space. Number two, vehicle expenses. You must keep track of your mileage and maintenance. An app is the easiest way to do this. And then number three, business meals. You can deduct 50% of meal costs while meeting clients or on any business travel. So, how to keep track of these expenses? You do have options. You can use Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel, or you can use apps like Keeper Tax, which is a self employed expense tracking software that automatically detects any tax write offs. The best system is the one you will actually use consistently. So I always suggest not to use a bunch of different systems. You always just want to use one to keep everything safe and in one place, and it helps you stay organized. All right, so we have covered so much today. I know this can feel really overwhelming, but that's what I'm here for. If you have any questions or need any assistance, please just get in touch. Again, my name is Sarah Harvey. Here is my number at the bottom of the screen. You can also always email me if you would like. I'm also on Facebook and all of the groups. It's Sarah Harvey, and then in quotation marks, Sarah Craig is my Facebook. I'd be more than happy to go over any questions, or if you need a tax preparer, I am more than happy to do that as well. I know tax time is coming up, so I am here for all of you guys. I also wanted to share a little document I put together. Let me exit out of here so I can pull it up. It's a tax deduction cheat sheet. It tells you your top 10 deductions and breaks them down for you. Any type of business trip checklist, it breaks down what you can and cannot deduct. I hope this helps. I will post this in the chat. And if you are watching the recording, I will post it in the description. I'm going to stop recording to go over any questions you guys may have. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope this helped. Everyone have a great day.